Well, 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 what have we here? It's another package. Oh yeah, there's a lot of stuff in here. Rob Flax here. I play things with strings, I hit stuff, and I sing. And today, there's a garbage truck outside. You might remember that October of 2022, I visited an awesome company in Portland, Oregon called 4MS. They showed me a couple of their modules, modular synthesizer stuff. I ran my violin through it. It made magical sounds that I've never heard before. Link to that in the description, or there'll be a thingy up there. I've been in touch with them since, and they agreed to send me a little starter kit. Modular seems like a really good thing for violinists to get into, and I'm curious. I don't know what I don't know, so here's hoping the things in this box will help me figure it out. Everything's just loose. Whoa. Power cable. Little screws. I think they call these knurlies. First thing on the list here is... Ooh. I didn't know they were sending me this. This is called the 4MS percussion interface. I mean, in theory, this is designed to be hooked up to a drum, but my violin is a drum. Anyone who knows me knows that I hit stuff. Violin is no exception. Oh, that's cool. Next bag. Also came with the power supply. This is the PI expander. Pairs with the percussion interface. One thing that's a little scary at first blush about modular stuff, a pedal comes in a metal enclosure. This is like naked. Its bits are showing. All of the power supplies have this red stripe. This is sending a lot of voltage. Usually it's 12 volts, and it's positive and negative at the same time. So you have to be careful to make sure that the red stripe is aligned with the correct power. We'll get there. Next thing. Oh my word. Oh, they've done such a nice thing. They sent me modules in a little case already. This is the 4MS pod. I think they have a bunch of different sizes of pods, and they're named after the amount of horizontal pitch, or HP, that they have. I think this is their largest one. I think this is the Pod 64. Just to get to the rest of it, all the manuals with little 4MS screwdrivers. Oh, that's such good swag. Oh, more companies should sell little screwdrivers or make company branded mini screwdrivers. That's super useful. I love that. I'm super a fan of that. That's fantastic. Barrel cable, labeled barrel cable. Little micro SD adapter. The manual for the Spectral multiband resonator. This is the Tapographic Delay. These are the only two that I was pretty sure were going to be in here. The percussion interface and expander, those are the ones over there, which I'm very excited about. A cute little patch. I don't know if this is an iron-on or like a sew-on. Looks like a sew-onable patch. That's adorable. Oh my gosh. The other stuff in this pod case, which I haven't gotten to yet, the WAV Recorder, so that like I have a Texan twang. WAV Listen IO mini peg. I'm excited about peg. I'm gonna edit this to have just the right amount of hopefully not copyright strikeable Steely Dan clips. A tiny SD card to go in the micro SD adapter. More of these screws and just lots of nice little bags. Okay, that's great. The power brick to power this case. One of the things that I'm very curious about using this for is the chessboard drum machine. So I like the idea of quickly recording little samples on here of maybe percussive sounds with the chessboard. Wait a minute. Oh, I see what's happening now. This PI expander has an input. That's a 1/4 inch input. Okay, so I'll have to figure out, how do I get power to these? Like, do I plug them into the same case? Is there another, maybe I could take some of this stuff out. One of the things that is hard about modular is deciding what modules go in what position. Lots to think about here. I'm going to pause this recording and come back with more information after I've had a chance to read up on what's going on here. More soon.
Several days later.
Okay, I'm back. It's been a few days and I've had a little bit of time to get my head around some of this modular stuff. This is not at all an exhaustive demo of any of the modules here, but more of a primer on how to get started with modular and why the stuff in this care package is useful, or what stuff you might want. So over here on top of my chessboard, I have this 4MS Pod 64 case. Check out what happens when you power this thing on. Ooh, did you see the little spinny? Wow. The case itself is a powered case. The folks at 4MS were very kind. They plugged in for me those ribbon connectors that have the power supply. At some point, I'm probably going to rearrange these though. And these little screws on here, you can unscrew each module and just lift them out and move them around. So if I decided that I like these modules, but I want to have them in a different arrangement, I could do that. I also have gone to the trouble of purchasing some cables. You can see this is a cable coming out of the output jack here, so that when stuff happens you can hear it. All of this stuff is kind of like fancy pedals with weird adapters. Here's a pedal, here's a pedal, here's a pedal, here's a pedal, here's a pedal. So if I want to get sound from this module into that module, I need to take a cable and connect them. Let's listen to this one instead. What happens if I plug into envelope out? I guess that's making a sound. Ah. That's a weird sound. This isn't supposed to be a sound making device, but you can. And that's kind of, for me, the fun of this whole Eurorack and modular ecosystem is you can use things wrong on purpose. Lightning round here. This module, this is the Spectral Multiband Resonator. It's a filter bank. There are 6 bandpass filters. Each of these sliders represents a resonant bandpass filter, and each of the sliders is how loud they are. With nothing patched into the input, it will generate its own internal white noise and then filter those. That's some nice white noise. Now, as I turn up this resonance control, something interesting happens. Now we're hearing pitches, because in addition to having these resonant bandpass filters, when you push the resonance up, each of these filters can start to self-oscillate, and that means it starts to sing and make its own little note. Let's listen to each one. Here's number 1. Here's number 2. Here's number 3. Very, very low. 4 is also low. Now we're starting to get some really rumbly low sub-bass things that I can almost hear. Also very low. Now, let's say I want to have these be a little higher up in the pitch. Well, I could just rotate the dial here. So I think this is the lowest note. Sounds like a C major pentatonic scale to me. That's really pretty. At the moment, all of these are kind of smushed together, and there's a way to spread them apart. It's this spread knob. That's allegedly the most spread apart. Honestly, that feels pretty spread. Now as I rotate, that's very nice. Now there's a clicking sound when I change. If I don't want that, I could turn up this morph control. And it'll slowly crossfade, which is kind of nice. I do like the sound of the clicking though. Let's move on to the next thing. We have here the Tapographic Delay. Complex multi-tap delay in the Eurorack format with a unique interface. This is a velocity sensitive force sensor. You can do up to 32 taps, each with its own delay, time, amplitude filter, and panning. There's a low-pass filter or resonant, pingable bandpass filter on each tap. Morphing between delay configurations with adjustable morph time, 2 different feedback oh my god, okay, so there's so much stuff. This is a really, really complicated delay pedal module. So they have some suggested patch notes of what to do. Simple, short percussive sound. Well, this thing is just making lovely, floaty, sustained things. Wouldn't it be nice if we could have that go bing? It needs something to open and close the sound. An envelope generator, if you will. The mini peg. And seriously, every time I see the word peg, all I can think of is Michael McDonald going, peg! So I'm gonna keep doing that throughout this video, and pretty much any time I feature the mini peg on this channel. Pingable envelope generator. What does that mean? It makes an envelope. If you're familiar with synthesizers, that's the attack, decay, sustain, release, or how the note unfolds. We heard a little bit of it as I played this envelope and turned it into a very fast sounding thing. Let's take this envelope out and plug it into the level control for this slider number 4. I think if I ping it, what it should do is open this up and then lower it in a triangle-y way.
Five minutes later.
Okay, we're back, and I figured it out. Now it's sending an envelope signal. This we can use to control any of the parameters here. Like, let's say I want that one to control when we hear slider number 6. Now, every time this sends a new envelope, it's sending out some signal. That's pretty useful. I don't see an easy way to control all of them at once necessarily. That would be nice. I think I need to molt this and have all 6 of them coming from the same source, which you can do. It's a little messy. I bought some of these stackable cables. Take another molt cable and also stack it into here. And so on. I bet there's a more efficient way to do it than this. But you get the idea. This peg is enveloping these sliders. So a thing that I would control manually by myself, I can now control and turn into a more short percussive burst because of this envelope control. In other words, the peg is the kind of modulation source that makes me excited about modular in the first place. I can control stuff automatically in complex ways. Let's look a little deeper. Peg has an envelope out, which is the, shapy one, and then there's this short one, this EOF, end of fall, which basically every time this ends, it just sends out a little trigger. Oh. Oh. Okay. I guess I didn't read the manual close enough, but now with this scale rotation switch, we went from very low. Gosh, there's so many controls to here to learn. That feels like now everything here is going to be more in the audible notes range. I feel good about that. Great. Oh! Okay. That's really fascinating. So now I'm into the rotate CVN, which is receiving a shape that goes high-low, high-low. Let me change this back to the middle and make it slower by dividing that. There we go. So now we have this lovely shape-a-rooney. That's a cool sound. Literally a little bit of the morph. And it takes away that clicking sound. That's fun. Me personally, I'm in it for the clicks. I like that clicking sound. A lot of stuff going on, and I'm gonna have a lot of combinations to try of what happens if I modulate this, if I modulate it with a smooth shape, if I modulate it with a fast trigger, if I modulate it by sending it random voltages. And I haven't even plugged in my violin yet or looked at the other three modules. Let's talk about the other two over here on the end because they're fairly quick to explain. This one is called the Listen IO, and it is exactly what it sounds like. It has an input and an output. Top half here is to take signals that are instrument level or line level and gain them up to be modular. So I can plug my violin into here, maybe a second input, maybe an iPad or some other instrument, maybe another synthesizer or something, and it will raise those to modular level. Modular synths operate at a much hotter signal than other stuff. So this is a useful way to take very quiet sounds, relatively speaking, and send them in here. This one I skipped over altogether. This is called the WAV Recorder, or WAV Recorder. It has a little micro SD card slot here. Ooh, look at that little micro SD card. You could record things before you head to your output. In other words, this should sound the same. It could change the sound. There's also a gain stage here, so maybe I want to crunch things up and give them a really distorted signal or something. You can see that's clipping hard. Whoa. I was not expecting to use the recording module as a distortion, but anything can be a distortion circuit if you turn it up too loud. So what about this delay? Oh, the editing for this video is going to be a nightmare. I'm filming right at sunset. The golden hour. Lots of interesting shadows happening. Tap several times, say 5 times on the sensor in a rhythm of your choosing. On the first tap, the red tap LED located above the sensor lights up, indicating that the module is now recording a tapography. Each subsequent tap makes the row of buttons flash in white, indicating that a new tap has been entered. The more buttons light up, the stronger its velocity is. Each input sound is now repeated according to the rhythm you tapped. So if I want to create a tapography, this thing allows me to add or change it. When adding a tap, the rightmost switch sets what parameter the velocity is mapped to. Oh, velocity of the tap. So how hard I tap that sensor, that will, it can either go to how loud the tap is. If it's a res, it passes through a resonant bandpass filter. The velocity of this is mapped to the center frequency of the filter. The stronger you tap, the higher the pitch. Oh, so there's more filters hiding in here. That's cool. Low pass filter. The tap's output passes through a low pass filter. The velocity of the tap is mapped to the cutoff frequency of the filter. The stronger you tap, the higher the cutoff. Oh, cool. All right, settings menu. Oh my gosh, there's a lot of menu diving here in terms of these keyboard shortcuts are convenient maybe once you've learned them. You can change the vel for velocity. You can change the bank. You can change the pan. Here we go. Pan sets how the stereo field is managed. Alt means that new taps will alternately be panned left, then right, etc. Random means new taps are panned randomly. Some repeat sets of module in mono. Oh goodness, I definitely want to find out how to change that. So you press and hold the thing you want to change, and then you select which option you want. So if I want to change the pan, I have to hold this, and then press that. And hopefully that did it. Oh, of course I'm only listening in mono though. Gosh. Aha. Now we're getting somewhere. Stereo matters. Stereo matters. This is very cool. I want to rotate this a lot faster though. So rather than ping the envelope, I'm going to just have it be a constant source of noise. Let's turn this way up and have it rotating faster. I really do like this subdivision control on the peg because it means you can go from regular to times 2, times 3, times 4, times 5. So they're multiples of one another. Let's take this envelope out and use it to control maybe the spread control. That seems fun. Oh yeah, that's getting weird. You can see it sort of glitching out here. So now, whoa! Holy moly, that got really loud really fast. Let's turn the level down here. Let's bring it up slowly. Let's bring this up just a little bit. That was fun. I want just the clicks from Morph attempting to rotate back and forth from the spread control being changed. We're hearing less of a clicking and more of just a sort of beautiful evolving ocean sounds. So the white noise built in here is really nice for making ocean sounds. That's cool too. With some resonance. Bring a couple of these up. That's what I'm talking about. Oh baby, that's crazy. Okay, that's a perfect example of the unpredictable nature of modular. What I am currently doing is modulating the spread control at a very fast rate, like a very, very fast rate, like way too fast. It's not slowly spreading those out and bringing them back in anymore. Now it's going spread, and the clicking sound is happening so fast that it's making its own note. That's so fun. I wish there was an easy way to patch into all 6 of these and just have them slowly growing, but we'll mess around with that. What if I could take, this is where I want more modulation sources. My goal for this is to use this as a potential voice for my chessboard drum machine. So I'll have a bajillion sources of modulation from all the different chess pieces. More on that later. Okay, let's listen some more. That's a ridiculous sound. Like, wouldn't it be nice to have a thing that just turned this knob? That's fun. Okay. But now, let's try. Oh, with the morph up, it's not so fast anymore. Sounds really pretty though. Nice floaty magic. That's lovely. Oh, I want to modulate something else, but it's so pretty. Okay, how about if we have the envelope out also going to control one of these levels? How about number 4? Hear the dry signal? Oh, that's fun. What a fun sound. That's a really weird sound. I've made a tiny little trickling plucky sound the dumbest way. I'm just sending a very fast modulation to the spread control. And as I just morph, like the features that interact and intersect and overlap are not easy to predict. That's a weird sound, you know? And again with magical delay. Let's clear this one out and give it some nice. For some reason, this one's parked here. So when I move slider number 3, it'll do that. Can I use another cable? I couldn't have predicted those lights blinking in that way, but it sure does seem to work. Less morph. It is freaking out. Now it sounds like it has this ebb and flow that wasn't there before. That's weird and cool.
2 very boring minutes later.
Oh, these are such cool sounds. So this is just like an infinite little universe and sandbox of unpredictable things. None of these are sounds I've ever heard anywhere before. This is very exciting. I could spend hours and hours and hours doing this, but I did say I want to try my violin. So let's plug in the violin and see. So I've got my violin plugged into the input. Whoa! All right, that slider happened to be on the note E. And this is the thing that happened when I was visiting. This is what happened when I was visiting for a mess in Portland. Is I was responding to what I could hear those resonant sliders were set to. I'm going to turn the resonance knob down a little bit here. If I just play white noise, I'm triggering the filters just the same as the was doing before. It's just instead of it's. So far so good. Let's make this go way faster again. Interesting.
A few moments later.
And my phone died, so somehow it's magically been several hours since I started filming and it's almost dark. Which I think is the real fun of modular synths in general, is you can easily lose track of time by going, what happens if I plug this into there? 3 takeaways for me. First of all, thank you 4MS. This is an incredibly inspiring bit of kit, and just these modules on their own are already really fun. The real secret sauce is modulation. As I start to explore modular more, I will be learning more about modulation and what makes things go, and I hope to share those bits with you. Thing number 2, filters are really magical and kinda explodey. This delay unit is inspiring but can quickly get out of hand. I still have a lot to figure out about what's going to make these modules explode wildly or what's gonna make them behave in a predictable manner. You can really choose your own adventure in this universe. I think I'm going to rearrange these modules, possibly swap some other ones in and out, and of course, I am working on my chessboard drum machine. The chessboard drum machine is going to be a project that uses a chessboard as a modulation source, and yeah, I'm gonna throw a bunch of modulation at these modules and see what works. What sounds in here were inspiring to you? Let me know. Thanks for watching. Thanks as always to my Patreon supporters. You make all of this possible. Thank you again to 4MS for sending me this stuff. Modular's the way. Okay, see you in the next one. Bye.